I grew up hearing one sentence more than any other in our house. Stay away from Mr. Keller, he is dangerous. My mother said it with the same firmness she used for warnings about boiling water and stray dogs. My father said it with a clipped certainty that left no room for questions. And so, for most of my childhood, I believed it. Our neighbor, Mr. Thomas Keller, lived alone in the weather-beaten house at the end of the cul-de-sac. The curtains were always drawn, the paint peeling, the lawn overgrown. Children in the neighborhood whispered about him, stories of him wandering the streets at night, speaking to no one, carrying old cardboard boxes that he refused to let anyone touch. But unlike the other kids, I was forbidden to even look his way. If he stepped out to get his mail, my mother would pull me inside. If he walked past our house, my father would stiffen, jaw clenched, until he was gone. If I ever asked why they shut down, "It's adult stuff," they said, "just trust us." So I did. At 12, trust came naturally. But curiosity came even easier. The first time he spoke to me. I was 15 when I first heard him speak. I was walking home from school, backpack weighing down my shoulders, when his voice drifted from behind the hedge. "You dropped this." I turned. He was holding a small notebook I hadn't even realized had slipped out. Up close, he didn't look dangerous. He looked tired, worn, as if each year had dragged him through something heavier than the last. His eyes, though, they were soft, sad. "Thank you," I muttered, glancing around nervously. My parents would kill me if they saw me standing next to him. He nodded. "You're welcome. Be careful with your stories. They matter." I had no idea how he knew the notebook was full of stories, my stories. I walked away quickly, heart pounding. That evening I considered telling my parents, but the thought of their anger stopped me. Over the next few years, he never approached me again. He simply existed, quietly, a ghost at the edge of our neighborhood. The night of the sirens. When I was 22 and home for winter break, a night full of flashing red and blue lights shook the street. An ambulance, 2 police cars, a stretcher. People gathered at their windows. And then they carried out Mr. Keller. A white sheet covered his face. My mother whispered a prayer. My father stared with an expression I couldn't read. "Did he die?" I asked. My mother nodded, "Heart failure." My father added under his breath, "Good riddance." The cruelty shocked me. "Dad, you don't know what that man was," he snapped. "Then tell me." He didn't. He simply walked out of the room. The next morning, an obituary appeared in the local paper. It was short, just a basic announcement, no photo, no family listed. And yet, something inside me knew I had to go to his funeral, even if it was against my parents' unspoken rule. He died alone. The least I could do was make sure he didn't get buried that way. The funeral. The funeral home was nearly empty. Aside from the priest, there were only 3 people, a middle-aged woman, an elderly man, and me. The casket was simple, unadorned, like the man himself. Before the service began, the woman approached me. "You're here for Tom." I nodded. I was his neighbor. My parents said he was dangerous, but I never understood why. She gave a small, tired smile. "Dangerous? Oh, sweetheart, Tom Keller was anything but." The service was brief. Afterward, the woman invited me to sit with her and the elderly man. She introduced herself as Linda and the man as Frank, a longtime friend of Mr. Keller. "What did my parents mean?" I asked. "Why did everyone avoid him?" They exchanged a look, one full of pain. Frank leaned forward. "Your parents knew Tom before you were born, back when he wasn't living like a recluse." My heart thudded. Who was he? "A hero," Frank said simply, though he never saw himself that way. He took out a worn photograph from his jacket, 3 firefighters in uniform, covered in soot, smiling proudly. One of them was my neighbor, years younger, shoulders straight, eyes bright. "He was a firefighter," I breathed. Linda nodded. He saved dozens of people in his career, but the fire that changed everything, well, your parents never forgave him for surviving it. My blood ran cold. Surviving. Frank exhaled shakily. There was a house fire in your old neighborhood. Your mother was trapped inside with you, just a baby at the time. Tom pulled you both out, but he couldn't save your older brother. I froze. My what? Linda touched my hand gently. You were too young to remember. Your brother was 4. The smoke was too thick by the time Tom reached him. Tears blurred my vision. My parents had never once mentioned a brother. Not once. Frank continued softly. Your father blamed Tom, even though Tom nearly died himself trying to get back in. After that, the guilt consumed him. He quit the department, moved to your street. I think he wanted to be near the child he saved. My chest tightened painfully. The man my parents had feared, the man they called dangerous, had saved my life. And lived the rest of his years alone, punished for a tragedy he tried desperately to prevent. The box. As I stood by the casket one last time, Linda handed me a small cardboard box. He wanted you to have this, she said. He kept it for years. My fingers trembled as I opened it. Inside were dozens of folded sheets of paper, stories. My stories. Pages I'd thrown away as a child, drafts I'd lost, things I'd left in notebook margins. He had collected them, preserved them, believed in them. At the bottom was a letter. You became everything I hoped you'd be. I'm proud of you. Tom Keller. My tears spilled freely. Coming home. When I returned home, my parents were waiting. The look on my face must have said everything. You knew, I whispered bitterly. You knew he saved me. My mother broke down crying. My father looked away, jaw trembling. It wasn't his fault, I said, and you punished him for the rest of his life. Silence heavy, suffocating. I walked past them and into my room, clutching the box of stories to my chest. For the first time in my life, I realized that the people I feared were not always the dangerous ones. Sometimes, the danger lies in the truth we refuse to face. And the heroes, they are the ones we push away.